Okay, let's talk about type 5s. So just to refresh, type 5s are the observers. They like to learn, they like to watch, they like to think, they like to research. They are collectors of knowledge, they are collectors of wisdom. They are going to maybe be the ones who overthink things a little bit. And 5s are a withdrawing number. So 5s are going to go within themselves, and if they can understand and figure things out, they feel safe and they feel good and empowered by that. And so 5s are awesome. They are just these sages that will know things that most of us would never dream to know, and we can benefit so much from their wisdom. 5s, because they're withdrawing, are also just a little more detached from their emotions, which can be such a gift to not be pulled into the emotional spectrum that is children, really. Children are just an emotional mess, and 5s can really distance themselves from that and know what's the right thing to do and move through life just very with just a centeredness. 5s don't tend to be super happy or super sad. They're just kind of right in the middle, and they can move through life so smoothly. They seem to just be calm and collected at all times. They're just great parents. A great parent to be is a 5. Now, some of the things though that might trigger a 5 will be that there is just so much chaos to deal with. And 5s tend to like privacy, they tend to like quiet, they tend to like to have that time to process and think through things. Children just don't give you that, especially not in the summertime. So that can be a trigger for a 5. Another thing that can be a trigger for a 5 is that they do run out of energy more quickly than other numbers. 5s have a limited number of energy and a limited amount of energy, and because of that, they kind of ration it out. 5s not only collect knowledge and wisdom, but they also like to collect and keep and conserve their energy, their time, and their money. And so 5s are always counting the cost of what an activity will cost them in terms of energy and time and money, and they want to make sure they're going to have enough. So they're a little bit triggered when there's being so much demanded of them, and they don't always have the energy or feel like they have the energy to output to all the activities that there are, or all the things that their kids want to do. That could be a real trigger. 5s can also, because of that, not want to spend much money or time on fun things. We only have a little bit. We got to make sure that this is worth it, and can just tend to be triggered by just not only a demand on their energy, but sometimes summers can be expensive. Sometimes summers can just take a lot of effort and energy and time because kids want to have fun, they want to do things, but for a 5, they're always counting the cost. Okay, what is this going to cost me, and do I want to expend that? And that can be just a real difficulty for a 5. 5s can also be doing repressed, and all that means is that a 5's first instinct is going to be to think, and then their next instinct may be to feel. Their final and last instinct is to do. That's going to be the last thing that they get to when they're confronted with life. And so they can tend to spend a lot of time planning things or thinking about doing things or wondering if they should do something without actually taking the step to do it. And that can be a difficult trigger for the parent, but also for the kids, if they feel like they may not always get to do all the things that they want to do because there's just a lot of planning that's taking place and not a whole lot of doing. And so the 5's strength can sometimes work against them, which is true of every number. Every number, if you look at their strength, it's beautiful, and then it also translates into something that works against them. And just being mindful and aware of that can help you, if you're a 5, to move through your parenting aware that your first instinct is going to be to say no, conserve energy, conserve money, conserve time. Your first instinct is going to be to plan and to think and to learn, and you're very rarely going to get to actual doing. And so being mindful of that may help you to intentionally choose to do some fun things with your kids. Even if you don't feel like you're ready or you have enough knowledge, or you've planned or prepared enough. You have. You've probably over-prepared more than any other number, and you're gonna feel like you haven't, but you have. And part of your growth activity is gonna be to press through that feeling of, I don't have enough energy, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough knowledge, I don't have enough research. You're gonna have to intentionally say, I do have enough, and I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna do the things with my kids. I'm gonna expend the energy, I'm gonna expend the time, I'm gonna expend the money. It's worth it. Because life is for the living, it's for the doing. And that's one of the things that can be frustrating for a 5, is feeling like they're not fully participating in their life. And we don't want that for this summer. We want to thrive. Sometimes you might even not know why you're not fully participating in your life. And it's because your instincts are to observe, to sit back, to withdraw, which is awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we're mindful, we can start to bring more balance. So that's what my growth activity would be for you, is to do the things at least once a week. Put something on your list that you are going to do, not plan to do, not think about doing, actually do, and be fully present while you're doing it. Don't evaluate, how is this going? Because 5s are just the ones who want to evaluate everything and plan, and did this go according to plan? Forget about all of that and just fully be present and enjoy the moment. Enjoy the activity. Enjoy the action itself. It's gonna feel a little uncomfortable, but it will bring that balance and that growth. So a 5's superpower, 5s have an amazing ability to bring wisdom. And one of the triggers that actually I didn't talk about was so important, it's gonna come in here in your superpower, is when children do have those conflicts with each other or with you. Children tend to have conflicts very emotionally. And because 5s are detached from their emotions, which is their superpower, it can also cause a 5 to get frustrated with a child and all of their emotions. So you may be triggered to not have compassion with your child, because for a 5, it's hard to comprehend that a person could feel so many emotions, because a 5 definitely does not feel so many emotions. So as you're looking at your child, it may be very easy for you to say, why are you responding this way? Why are you freaking out? Why are you crying? Why are you so emotional about this? It can be really difficult for you to understand why that's happening. And so what I would challenge you to do is to tap into some compassion. Allow yourself to think back when you were a child. Allow yourself to feel how it feels to have something taken away that you love, to have plans changed and you feel powerless and not sure what's going on. Children react emotionally when they feel like they've lost control and they don't know what to do or how to get it back. And so it comes out in emotional explosions. And so as a 5, you're very good at detaching from emotions, but you're gonna find it difficult to have compassion until you can access those emotions again. So growth activity for you would be to try and access some compassion. Try and take a breath as your child is losing it emotionally, and realize that they don't know how to handle those emotions yet. And if you can calmly bring that wisdom that the 5s have, that is such a strength of the 5, you're gonna be amazing parent. You're gonna be amazing to help your child be able to discern, okay, is this worth having emotions about? Is this not? It's an amazing part of being a 5 is you can see that so clearly. Help your child. Don't get frustrated at them. Don't, lose it and feel like this child is irrational and unconsolable. Be the teacher that your child needs and enter into that moment with them and help to guide them out. But understand that those emotions that the child has, they don't know how to handle it. And maybe you don't either, which is why you're detached from them. So children often trigger what we haven't quite healed from yet as adults. Take a moment, take those reflective pages that you can print out that's a part of this training. And in the evenings, you're so good at this as a 5 to be able to detach and observe in the evenings. Observe, what was it that triggered you? What was it, that emotion that your child was having? Why do you think they were having that emotion? Was it because your child lost control? How can you give control back to your child? How can you empower your child to feel like they're in control? How can you bring your wisdom and your knowledge and your ability to detach from emotional entanglements? How can you bring that as a gift to your child and teach them in this summer season? Because as a 5, my goodness, you are an amazing parent. You have amazing gifts to bring to your child. One of my very favorite parents, friends, who I ask advice for all the time is a 5. And she's just the sage wisdom that comes out of this woman is beyond. So stand in that. You have enough, you know enough, you've planned enough. Go do all the fun things. Don't let the emotions of your child freak you out. Enter into it with them and help them learn how to deal with them. You got this.